And commissioners, please sure to press the button on your microphones when you speak, so that way we get it recorded.
Welcome, everyone, to the Human Rights Commission. Today is Monday, June 12th, 2023. It is 5:30, and it is a regular meeting. So I will start by calling this meeting to order. Jay, can we do a roll call, please?
Commissioner Vignolo,
Present.
Commissioner Clary,
Present.
Commissioner Flood, let me know he would not be able to attend. Vice Chair Shepherd
Present.
and Chair Loyola,
I'm here.
Student Representative Hanner,
Present.
and we have new commissioners. Commissioner Renke,
Present.
Commissioner Horn,
Here.
Commissioner Greer,
Here.
and Commissioner Ramaran has joined via Zoom. And Mr. Chair, we have a quorum.
That's great. Thank you so much, Jay. First and foremost, we'd like to welcome our new commissioners to the Human Rights Commission. It is a fantastic opportunity to get to meet you, first and foremost. I want to thank you very much for stepping up and applying to be part of this commission, a commission that's been doing tremendous work for over 30 years for the city of Palm Springs. It is an honor that we are all part of this commission. A lot of work. We've been obviously very, very active in so many ways, and very engaged with our community. And the work and the expertise and the skills that you bring to this commission will surely serve us well. So welcome, welcome to this commission, Commissioner Carlota Renke. If I say that correctly, if not, please correct me. Welcome, Commissioner Michael N.J. Horn, and welcome, Commissioner Beverly Greer. It is truly a pleasure. I also want to take an opportunity to welcome back reappointed commissioners to a second term. Commissioner and Vice Chair Donna Shepherd. So great. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Commissioner David Vignolo. Welcome back. Commissioner Oliver Cleary. And Commissioner Edwin Ramaran, who is joining us via Zoom. It's great to have you back for another term. Obviously, all of you are seasoned commissioners and you understand the work of the commission and you bring tremendous value to this commission. It is an honor and a pleasure to serve among all of you, as well as our student representative, Lily Hanner, who's been with us for a few terms. It's great to have you, and your contributions have always been tremendous and very welcome. So very important, this is our first full commission meeting today. It's June the 12th. We have a pretty packed agenda. I want to invite all of our commissioners to engage with discussion when we get to discussion points in the agenda. Everyone's opinion matters. So if you have something you'd like to share with the commission, please raise your hand if you're in the room, or use the reactions in the Zoom if you're participating via Zoom, so that I can acknowledge you and recognize you and give you the proper opportunity to interact, correct? Great. Jay, do we have any presentations today?
We have no presentations, Mr. Chair.
Okay. So item number 5 in our agenda is the acceptance of the agenda. Do we have a motion to accept the agenda?
So moved.
Vice Chair Shepherd has presented a motion. Do I have a second?
I second.
Commissioner Rinkett has seconded the motion to accept the agenda.
Commissioners, let me make one quick clarification. And I think I've done this at the beginning of the meeting. I hope this is not too out of order, but you will be issued an oath of office for those who are new commissioners. And then after you're issued the oath of office, you'll be able to participate in voting on the commission. Returning commissioners, reappointed commissioners have already taken their oath of office, and they're more than welcome, if you've already taken that oath, to vote and make motions with the commission at this time.
All right, thank you, Jim, for that reminder. Having said that, do we have a current commissioner or returning commissioner who would like to second the motion to accept the agenda? Please.
I guess I'll, before I second it though, I wanted to ask for clarification because I had an item that I was going to ask to be put on this agenda. But after Jay checked with the city attorney, there was some question about whether it'd be better to have it as a special meeting because it's time sensitive. I had asked Jay to check if it's gonna be possible for everything to occur in order for the council to consider it this month. Otherwise, I feel strongly enough that it should be considered tonight if we can't accommodate to a special meeting. So Jay, did you have a
Yes,
chance
thank you
to
for
check that?
Yes, I did, and the city attorney advised us that there's two conditions that have to be met to add items to the agenda when when they weren't on the agenda when it was initially posted. And one of those, as you pointed out, is a 2/3 vote of approval by the commissioners to do so, or a majority of those present. And a need for posting it and after the agenda had already been posted. So what he struggled with was what is the need for posting this item, including this item on the current agenda. So he did offer, if the commission wishes, hold a special meeting to review and approve the item that Commissioner Vignola wanted to bring forward, but he did say he didn't think it met the criteria for adding it to the agenda.
Okay, but my question was, if we have a special meeting to consider the item, can it still make it on the council's consent calendar at their remaining meeting in the month of June? Is the item sensitive enough that has to, in my opinion, have action taken on it in the month of June?
There's one meeting in June. June 29th, one remaining meeting, so to make that agenda, it would really have to be this week. So if you had a special meeting later this week to act on the item you wanted to bring forward, I think that would be the way to do it.
So if you want to bring that item forward, just we'll put it at the end and the items to be considered. And I understand exactly what the importance of this is. We're gonna talk about the importance of this in various points in the agenda.
But what are the rules? What are the rules for calling a special meeting? How far in, am I on? How far in advance? It's out there.
It's the light screen.
What are the rules for calling a special meeting? How far in advance does the notice for a special meeting have to go? If we're gonna do it this week, do we have sufficient time to make notice of the special meeting? If we hold it, say, on Thursday
Yes.
or Friday,
Special meetings have a 24-hour
notice,
posting requirement.
today's what? Today is Monday.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So do I have a second on the acceptance of the agenda from current commissioners or returning commissioners?
I'll second the motion to approve the.
Let's go on record that Commissioner Vignola has seconded the acceptance of the agenda. So that's point number 5. We're gonna go on to mission statement and goals, which is item number 6. And I thought it would be proper and a good thing to allow our new commissioners to start participating actively in this particular point. So I would like to invite our new commissioners to help us with the reading of our mission statement and goals. And I'm gonna go from my, yes,
If I can interrupt you and have us go back to the welcome of new commissioners.
Okay.
We have City Clerk Brenda Free with us, who can assist with oath of office.
Absolutely.
okay, so we're definitely gonna execute the oath of office here for our new commissioners. This is exciting. Do you guys want us to record on using your phones or something or photos? This is pretty important.
You'll be on YouTube when this.
So, I have, Brenda.
Microphone, please.
Brenda Free, City Clerk. And I have 3 new appointments with me today. Is everybody in person or is it one on?
Yes, they're here in person.
Commissioners, thank you, welcome we appreciate you serving and, volunteering your time to serve on this very important part of city government. So we want to welcome you and, somewhere later on, we're gonna call you in to do new board member orientation. And we also ask that you do a one-on-one with the commissioner, the chair of this commission, as well as the liaison. And they want to share some information with you as well. So with that, I'll provide your oaths of offices. If you would stand and raise your right hand. Switch here, raise your right hand, please. And I'll read slowly and you can put your name, insert your names into the blank for me. I state your name.
Carlotta Rinky.
I, Beverly Greer, Michael Horn, and Carlotta Rankin. Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
Or affirm.
Affirm.
That I will support.
That I will support.
And defend.
And defend.
The Constitution.
The Constitution.
Of the United States.
Of the United States.
And the Constitution.
And the Constitution.
Of the State of California.
Of the State of California.
Against all enemies.
Against all enemies.
Foreign and domestic.
Foreign and domestic.
That I will bear true faith.
And will bear true faith.
And allegiance.
And allegiance.
To the Constitution.
To the Constitution.
Of the United States.
Of the United States.
And the Constitution.
And the Constitution.
Of the State of California.
Of the State of California.
That I take this obligation freely.
That I take this obligation freely.
Without any mental reservation.
Without any mental reservation.
Or purpose of evasion.
Or purpose of evasion.
And that I will well.
And that I will.
And faithfully.
Faithfully.
Discharge.
Discharge.
The duties upon which I am about to enter.
The duties of which I am about to enter.
Thank you so much. So I'll have each of you sign 2 copies. I'll leave one with you for your record and I'll take one for my record and you'll be ready to serve.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah. Yeah. I think I'm gonna be sworn in. Yeah, I haven't been sworn in.
Oh, okay,
Okay.
that's good. That's perfectly good.
So I'm gonna be able to vote next month.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Probably never done it.
It's before June 30th. This has to happen before June 30th.
So I can come in another
Okay.
day if
Okay.
that, because I think we need to get Edwin. Does Edwin have to do it again?
No, everyone's already been sworn in, so.
Well, I was sworn in the first time, but I thought you had to do it on.
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
Not a
well, I'm
second
good.
time.
I,
We don't
okay.
do reappointment.
Forgive me. Yeah, you'd be swearing in all the
Then
time.
you're good to go.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
That was like, okay, so you're good. You can vote.
I wanna move on that agenda.
That's, I agree with you.
I read stuff that comes in and I swear I don't know where it goes. in my brain.
Thank you.
Wait a minute. Thank you. Well, and my reader commissioners.
This is our oath of office.
I didn't just dream that. But I'm glad to get rid of the outcome.
For your record. I'm gonna take this one from her.
Thank you
Thank
guys
you.
so much for.
Thank you so much, Brenda. Much appreciated.
Take care.
And with that, now we can officially welcome our new appointed commissioners. Carlotta Renke, Michael M.J. Horn, and Beverly Greer. Congratulations and welcome.
Thank you.
You. All right, so to help us ease into today's agenda, I would like to ask our new commissioners to help us read our mission statement and goals. I'm gonna ask, moving to my left, starting with Beverly Greer, Commissioner Greer, and following with Commissioner Renke, and finishing with Commissioner Horn, to read a few of the statements and the goals of the commission. So Beverly, if you could read the mission statement and the first two goals of the commission through. And then Carlotta, if I could have you read the next three goals of the commission. And then Michael, if I could have you read the following three goals of the commission. For the record, that would be great. And we're gonna start with our new commissioner, Beverly Greer. So please go ahead.
Thank you. Mission statement and goals. The mission of the.
Beverly, open your microphone, please.
I did. Well, there we go. Okay.
You don't have to hold it, just,
You don't have to hold it?
No.
Okay. The mission of Palm Springs Human Rights Commission is to promote and protect the diversity of our community and to improve human relations through education and community awareness. The Human Rights Commission goals are to develop community education programs, to investigate and mediate instances of discrimination of groups or individuals,
Carlotta?
To bring persons and groups together in common support of human rights issues, to acquire the fiscal and human resources necessary to support and accomplish the work of the mission, and to provide management and coordination for the commission.
To provide diversity through the appointment of candidates to all city boards and commissions, to proportionately reflect the diversity of the population of the city of Palm Springs. The commission and each committee shall develop goals and objectives annually for adoption by the commission. The commission shall work closely with the mayor, city council, and city cabinet, and with all other city commissioners and boards in joint endeavors that support the commission's mission, statement, and city goals and objectives.
Thank you very much, and commissioners, for helping us read the mission statement and our goals. One of the things that we really need to emphasize is that as a commission of the city, the work that we do as a commission is really in full support of our city council. And that is one of our number one drivers. And so we have to keep that in mind, that every activity, every program, everything that we do is in full support of our city council. Right? Having said that, we're going to move on to item number 7, which is public comments. Jay, do we have any public comments?
We have no public comments, Mr. Chair.
Thank you for that. I'd like to start with a few comments. Again, welcome to this meeting. We've had a couple of very interesting months, and for which we had to postpone a couple of our meetings over the last few months. One, because it was in direct conflict with a city council meeting, which prevented us from actually meeting or having a hybrid meeting. And another one, because we had the lack of quorum and a commissioner couldn't make the meeting, so it was decided to better postpone. So although we've had a couple of months with no particular meetings taking place, the commission nevertheless has been quite active in the community. We bring in a lot of reports on things that have happened. First and foremost, I want to thank all of the commissioners and our student representative, Lily Henner, for joining the Harvey Milk Diversity Breakfast that took place at the convention center. It was a very well-attended event. This is a yearly event, and one intention that I have as chair of the commission is to promote the event and get us together moving forward. I'd like for us to be active participants. It's a great opportunity to engage with other city officials, with the public and the community at large. And it is centered around bringing our LGBTQ youth from the entire valley to participating in such an event. So we can certainly coordinate this better for next year, and hopefully you all be actively participating. I know Lily, this was your first diversity breakfast, and I hope you also enjoyed it as well as everybody. It was a tremendous event, and it happens yearly. So make sure to put that in your agendas for next year as an important event that I'd like everyone to continue to participate. As a commission also, we have been quite actively participating in many public events. For example, I was invited to join our mayor Grace Gardner for Cinco de Mayo celebration at the James O. Jesse Desert Highland Community Center. That took place on May the 5th. And we had a lovely 2 hours of celebration, games, community events, family gathering. It is one of our 2 centers in Palm Springs, and you hear from Commissioner Vignolo later in the agenda. We love to support those types of activities that the center promotes actively. This is another great opportunity to be out in the community, meeting our constituents, meeting people, basically introducing ourselves, making sure that people know that you're part of the commission, and just being actively participant. Those type of activities, along with any other type of community activities, are really good opportunities for us to engage with the community, and I encourage you to do so. Okay, so although again we didn't have those 2 meetings, the commission has been commissioners have been actively engaging in community events, and that's the important thing that I wanted to bring to my comments. All right, so the next point in the agenda is item number 9, which is approval of minutes from March 13, 2023 and April 17, 2023. Do I have a motion to approve all minutes for those? And now, obviously, you haven't read probably, but now you can actively participate. But any commissioner?
Well, I can't because I wasn't at the meeting.
Correct. So any current commissioner?
I'll move to approve the minutes of March 13th.
So I have a motion from Commissioner David Vignola. Do I have a second?
Second, I second.
We have a second from Vice Chair Shepherd on this. Do I have any discussion?
I just had a question on the March 13th minutes, Jay. We're on page 2. I guess it's E as an echo. Just wanted to clarify that. Maybe Commissioner Ramaran can clarify for me. You had announced that he had completed his term and no longer serving, but I guess was there a resignation and then a reappointment, or
I can address that.
do we need to delete that comment, or?
Well, those things did happen, but the city council, I don't recall if it was subsequent to that, but did request all former commissioners to continue serving, so.
Okay. So should we leave it in the minutes or take it out of the minutes?
Well, the effect is, as of this meeting, Commissioner Roman is back on the commission, so I think we could leave it in the minutes. And have, it's reflected now that he's been reappointed, so.
And his term expires June 30th, 2025. So he's the only commissioner whose term expires in 2025. They're gonna screw up your cycle.
Yeah, yeah.
So just as a point of information, you might need to check, I don't know. Because usually there's multiple commissioners on a rotating term,
Yeah, their terms are staggered for that reason.
but not usually with one commissioner's term expiring, I didn't think. In a single year. I don't know. Anyway, that won't be a problem till 2025.
All right, so that's on the record now, and Jay, would you check on that for us?
Sure.
Thank you. Any other discussion? On the approval of minutes? Okay, let's take a vote for the approval of minutes. You can raise your hand and say yay for those who agree to accept the minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. It looks like we have a majority. Cleary, Ramaran. Thank you so much. So let the record say that we have a majority of votes to approve the minutes. We're now going to move on to items for discussion and action. And again, everyone is welcome to speak. If you have questions, if you have comments, you can certainly join the exchanges and the conversation. And the first item for discussion tonight is item 10A, which is the committee and liaison reports. With the executive report standing committee by me, the chair, and our vice chair Shepherd. We don't have an item to report on this other than perhaps our desire to review the work of our standing committees and recommend that we do have a day of work so that we, as a full commission, review the standing committees, the purpose, their goals, the membership, who is doing what. So we don't have a day in mind. Yes, Commissioner Rinke.
Did we approve the April minutes?
Yes, both of the minutes have been approved.
Thank you.
Yes, both of the minutes have been approved at the same time. So that's what we have, and I'm gonna basically bring this again at the end of the meeting, perhaps as an item for action that we would like to recommend a review of the standing committees, the description, the scope of the standing committees, the document that was shared with us for the standing committees was produced in 1996. While there's still a very important and actionable amount of information in the rules, we feel it's time to basically review them and see if we can bring them up to date. But more importantly, to make sure that everyone who's participating in a standing committee feels that they will be able to bring some very positive work to the standing committee. And that's what we wanted to report. But other than that, we have nothing else to report. Number 2 item in the agenda for discussion is item 10B, which is our Palm Springs Police Department LGBT outreach liaison. As a chair, I do sit on this particular liaison committee. And I do have a couple of items to report to the full commission. First and foremost, that following our meeting on April the 20th, it had been discussed that there were very few hate crimes reported in Palm Springs. And there was an announcement of an LGBTQ town hall that would take place in the month of June, led by our Chief of Police, Chief Mills. And that there was also work that the group was recommending to Riverside County to start investigations into what it was being perceived as human trafficking for those street vendors that are popping in Palm Springs everywhere, where there was absolutely no record of them being a legal established operation, or they couldn't provide information about who owns those operations. So there is the perception that some of those operations may be linked to human trafficking, and I have requested and encouraged the full commission to keep an eye open to any of these reports and updates from the media and the likes about these potential violations of human trafficking. This is going to be a topic that's going to be very important for us moving forward. And we just have to make sure that we as a commission are working with our authorities. So that if we know something or we come across something that we think is worth sharing with our authorities, that we do so. Because this is, again, a very, very important issue and it's not a new issue. So that's what transpired in the meeting on April the 20th. The town hall event that took place, I do have the info. If you bear with me. The town hall event that took place on June the 6th at Hunters in the Arenas District from 5 to 6:30 was an extremely well-attended event. I don't have a body count, but I can see the place was packed with members of our community, with members of our police department, our fire department, city officials were in attendance. We had a few city council members and our mayor pro tem, Bernstein, was in attendance. And various community leaders from other organizations were in attendance. The chief, this was a typical town hall event where there was a moderator and asked questions of the chief, and the chief had the opportunity to answer those questions and provide his input and insight about what the police department is doing to prevent hate crimes. He defined the difference between a hate crime and hate speech, so that when someone is trying to make a report, at least they will have some grounds understanding what it is considered hate crime and hate speech. Obviously, hate speech is more verbal type of assault, while hate crime requires more of an incident when an individual is attacked. As you may have heard in the news, there have been a number of incidents reported recently, one very prominently in the media, where this gay man was attacked because he hooked up on one of those apps. And evidently the attacker had been in the police watch. Not the first time he's conducted this type of activity, attacking people physically. He has been apprehended. And the chief was very adamant about providing what the police department would do in order to make sure that everyone stays safe. One of the recommendations is, and for public record, if you're going to go on one of those hookup apps, make sure that your family, your friends, or your close allies know that you are going to be engaging with someone anonymously, so that someone can step up and report if you haven't been able to be found in a certain amount of time. That's a very critical thing. Stemming from that, Chief Mills also advised the community to make sure to know who to contact with regard to any kind of improper situation. He reminded us that we are a very diverse and welcoming community, that there's space for everyone here and everyone should feel safe. And that, again, it's no one's above the law. So if crime has been committed, it needs to be reported regardless. In addition to that, the chief talked very much so about the importance of building community activity or activism, and inviting the community to be active participants. The police department has been conducting a number of trainings over the last few years under his leadership. He's been incredibly active in the community, attending events, community events, and so on and so forth. Like the vigil for Club Q last year after the shooting took place in Colorado Springs. And his department is working very closely with commercial leaders, city leaders, and community leaders to make sure that the resources of the police department are available to our entire community and that the support is there. One of the final things that came up out of that town hall was our preparedness for active shooting situations. And our chief assured us that they will be continuing to provide training for active shooting situations. And they will be continue to provide us with resources to be as prepared as we can as a community in the event that those types of situations take place. Let us remind everyone that we're living in a bubble, and this is a beautiful place to live. Palm Springs attracts people from everywhere around the country and other countries as well. And we as a community need to do what we have to do to stay engaged and to be connected with one another and with our resources, particularly our city resources. Commissioner Reinke.
Yeah, I have a question, couple of them. How are hate crimes and the like been trending in the community? And then the other question I have is, how does the Human Rights Commission interact with this kind of information? What do we do, or how do we, what's the next step, or this is just all informational?
That's a very good question, and it's not just informational, Commissioner Reinke. I sit in that particular outreach committee as the chair of the commission. The committee is a mix of members of the police department. We have other community leaders from various parts of our community. We meet every month in person, police headquarters across the street on Civic Way. And they provide us with updates. The police provide us with an updated report on number of hate crimes reported, number of speech crimes reported, what has been done, what has been filed, have there been any arrests. As a Human Rights Commission, obviously, we are going to continue to participate very actively in this committee so that we could make sure that no one's rights have been violated. But more importantly, also as support of the work that and the leadership of the police department. Last year, our police department created a program. It was a several-week program and invited the public to join. And it was training on keeping our neighborhoods safe. And we invited all of our commissioners to join these type of training programs. So everyone is welcome to participate actively. It's like, it was a police academy type of event, if I recall correctly, Jay. But this is the kind of work that we need to continue to be highly engaged in, not just as a commission, but also as members of the community. So it's more than just getting reports. It's definitely participating and staying actively engaged with our police. Commissioner Fong.
I attended that town hall meeting. It was very impressive. It was very constructive. There was one detail that Chief Mills brought up, which is hate speech. There's not much that the police can do regarding hate speech because of First Amendment rights. But I'm sure that they can be reported anyway. The other curiosity about the committee that you have with the police department, is that a task force that you have? And are we allowed to participate in the task force?
So it's membership, but I will inquire about bringing guests to these particular meetings because they do happen on and across the police department headquarters. They are not broadcast.
Right.
But I will certainly inquire Commissioner Fong about the ability to bring guests to that. I will keep the commission abreast of any and all activities stemming from this task force because I want all of us to be engaged to the degree that we can be engaged. That's going to be one of the things that we as a Human Rights Commission should be totally and fully engaged with. Thank you for attending. That was a really good event. Vice Chair.
I'm already on. I'd have been quiet. Commissioner Rankin, we also are prepared as a commission, if we have citizens bringing forward complaints that of a human rights violation, an issue that could be construed as a human rights violation, to do mediation and facilitate solutions in those situations. Two of our commissioners have been through the Riverside County training on mediating those kinds of complaints. We're also available to do that kind of thing.
Thank you, thank you.
Right. Anyone else? Right, having heard no more comments, we're gonna move on to our master calendar liaison report by Commissioner Vignola.
The only thing I have on the master calendar of importance, I think, is the Juneteenth event, the celebration of culture. It's on Saturday, June 17, from 5 to 9 p.m. It's a free event, and it's held at the James O. Jesse Desert Highland Unity Center.
And it's free and open to the public, is that right?
It's a free event, open to anybody who wants to.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're available, we encourage you to participate. It's a really wonderful venue for families to join and have a good time. Okay, great. Main Street liaison report. I just want to introduce our new commissioners to what Main Street is. I have nothing actively to report at this time, but it is an organization, sort of like a group of business leaders that majority have ownership of businesses downtown Palm Springs. We have the participation of our city staff. We have the participation of our police department, our fire department. We have Greater Palm Springs Tourism Bureau participating. And this is a group that meets every month. I believe it's the first Tuesday of every month. Is that right, Jack? Exactly. In which updates are provided by those participating and are more than anything focused on economic development and issues surrounding businesses. So this is our business industry. So we have representatives from our hotel and hospitality. We have representatives from restaurants. We have representatives from retail. Oftentimes, Jay, our economic director here in the city of Palm Springs, will provide updates on programs that are available to small businesses. Like we just recently had that $10,000 facade renovation program for small businesses in downtown. I participate in those meetings both as a business consultant for the Small Business Development Center for Riverside County, but also as the chair of the Human Rights Commission. And it's really great to hear these types of updates, what is happening with regards to economic development. The only thing I'd like to mention is that very encouraging, we are seeing the number of visitors continue to grow. And we will continue to see that economic growth for years to come. Now with the build of the arena that is bringing phenomenal activities to the venue, the festivals. I think we're going to go from 14 million visitors a year to perhaps more than 16 or 17 million, which is tremendous. So that's the kind of information that transpires in those kinds of meetings. And whenever something has or is related to human rights, I try to bring that information to the commission. But I just want you to know that this particular group meets every month, and that it's really great to hear that Palm Springs is moving into the economy growth. This is not slowing down, it's just growing. It's tremendous. So that's that with Main Street. We're gonna move on to item 10.5A5 from item 10. Organized Neighborhoods of Palm Springs Liaison Report, Commissioner Vignola.
Nothing to really report. There's a meeting tomorrow. at the Police Training Center. From 4:30 to 6 p.m. Those meetings are open to the public. Anyone can attend. I try to attend as many as I can. And
Commissioner Vignolo, could you explain just a few minutes what one PS is and what it stands for our new commissioners?
it's the Organized Neighborhoods of Palm Springs. There are about 50, currently 52 neighborhood associations, organizations. Motion censored.
Yeah.
Not walking
There we
around in
go.
the thing.
There are about 52 organized neighborhood organizations currently, and it's basically a forum in which we can address topics that affect multiple neighborhoods. We hear from city agencies, city departments. There's usually a monthly topic. I think this month, the focus is on Palm Springs Parks and Recreations. So they'll be having staff from that department speak. There's also the Indian Canyon Bridge Initiative will be addressed by a representative of the Coachella Valley Association of Governments. So it's. Sure.
Yeah,
What'd you
I
ask?
did have a question. I'm real familiar with One Palm Springs, and I was just wondering, I'm still trying to get a feel for the human rights mission and goals. And I'm wondering, what kind of opportunities or issues come up that would be necessitating or would be kind of asked of the commission. I mean, are just informational updates? Yeah.
In my opinion, it's basically informational
Okay,
updates. I mean,
okay.
I've not seen anything that's particularly human rights related come out of one PS, but it's more for us to hear perhaps what's
What's going on?
in the city in other neighborhoods, and I come back here and basically just
Okay.
share what I know, what they
Thank you.
talk about, but
Commissioner Horn has,
I think there is an issue regarding trans individuals who, it's a volatile topic in the United States. And I think we're going to probably in the future be considering issues related to trans people.
but not within the one PS.
Oh, I see. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not, I don't think, I mean, they could, I guess, take it out, but not within one PS.
Okay,
So,
sorry.
Vice Chair.
I think our participation in these different organizations is our way of doing community outreach, just being available, promoting the fact that there is a Human Rights Commission there. My impression over the time that I've been involved with the commission is that we are underknown and underutilized. And I think everything that we can do to make people aware that there is a Human Rights Commission and what our mission is important. And I think our being involved in these these activities is one small part of that. When anybody asks about human rights in Palm Springs are often directed to the city website. And the city has a great website, but not everybody is either self-sufficient or motivated enough to get on there and dig into that. And we need to find ways to be more visible to the public and to implement our goals. I think that's part of it.
Terrific. Thank you for that update.
Lily,
Number 6, we're
we're gonna
gonna,
raise your hand
oh, Lily,
higher.
Lily, go ahead.
I just wanted to say, since one PS it's an outreach group in that sense, there's also the aspect of it with the other perspective and understanding what is going on in not only just Palm Springs, but the valley itself. So that organization also allows us to gain a better perspective. Because not many people know about the Human Rights Commission, like Vice Chair was saying, but as well as some people don't realize that they can show up to these meetings and can voice their opinions. So for those people in those neighborhoods that do have that connection to at least one PS, and then we can reach that information from there as well. So it is a way of community outreach, but it's also a way for us to understand perspective of other people in the valley as well.
That's great. And there's a yearly picnic that takes place at the park, one of our parks, and it's a wonderful opportunity to be out there with the community, having a great time. It's a family affair. The city participates, and it's just, if you can, you should definitely consider joining the yearly picnic. Thank you for that. Thank you. We're gonna move on to Desert Highland Gateway States Community Association Liaison Report. We don't have Commissioner Flood, but we have Vice Chair Shepherd. Can you provide us an update?
Commissioner Flood and I have been part of this commission for a while. They have a monthly meeting. Desert Gateway Highlands is kind of a unique neighborhood in our city that has some a specific set of problems that often need attention, and this is just our way of trying to stay connected with it, the community and the neighborhood, to understand and maybe get ahead of issues that may come up, and also to keep them aware as a presence of who their commissioners are that are part of this commission. And I will, if you'll allow me a little bit of license, you see number 10 is the Equity and Social Justice Committee Liaison Update. A year and a half or 2 years ago now, when George Floyd was murdered in Minneapolis, there was a great outcry in Palm Springs, and what are we going to do to make sure our police are, you know, not violent with people and nothing like that. The kind of shootings and so forth that have happened in other places in the nation happen here. So an Equity and Social Justice committee was formed. And it also involves some of the people from Desert Gateway, Desert Highlands Gateway. Unfortunately, the consultants that the city hired to kind of facilitate the Equity and Social Justice Committee, in my view, has failed us a little bit. There haven't been meetings and haven't been much movement on that. And I volunteered for that because that's a particular passion of mine. So it's something that is one of those areas that's on our agenda, but we need to do more work on. And so instead of coming back to me, I can kind of lump those two together and tell you that's where we are. Desert Highland Gateway is a strong community association. They have a lot of great members that are very active. And I'm pleased to be part of them, but the other piece on equity and social justice, not so much.
Commissioner Greer?
Were the consultants from outside the area, or I've had the opportunity to work with the community with Loma Linda University and do some studies on what's happening there. And I'm curious who would be in charge of that.
I'm not positive for their locale, although I have seen one of the consultants and local social media. So I believe that the ones that they hired were local, or at least Riverside County. And we haven't had any conversations with city council about it. I don't know what the council's feeling is at the present time, or if that's something that we should, you know, move up the ladder. Or if they've decided the need is passed, I, you know, just don't know. So it's something that I need to do a little bit more work on, and appreciate any interest or input that you might have.
Well, there are definitely a lot of challenges in that neighborhood, and it's, if we were approaching from a healthcare point of view.
Commissioner Rinke?
I have a question. So informationally, I'm asking, Desert Highland Gateway Estates Community Association is predominantly an African-American, lower socioeconomic community.
Predominantly African-American, but a lot of Latino and some Native and some white now. It's starting to gentrify just slightly. And got some Airbnbs going in there.
And there's kind of a source of maybe gun violence there and drug usage.
There have been some incidents of gun violence there. There's a mobile home park up in the north side of town that it's my understanding that there's some youthful gangs, like high school and even middle school kids that kind of go back and forth, and occasionally it erupts into some kind of violence. I don't know if there have been any more, I haven't heard any details of any adult gangs or any of that kind of thing going on. But it is an area that, short on socioeconomic development, we need jobs, we need better housing, we need the whole 9 yards up there. So, definitely a focus point.
Okay, I'm interested. Thank you.
Good, thank you.
Any additional comments?
Mr. Chair, I believe Commissioner Ramaran.
Commissioner Ramaran, do you have your hand up?
He had it up, but he took it down. It is muted. There we go.
Excuse me?
Go ahead, Commissioner Ramaran.
Yes, hi, good evening, everybody. I appreciate the conversation here, and I just, Vice Chair Shepherd, you know, in regards to the Equity and Social Justice Committee, the liaison for, actually, the independent, the organization that was involved is called Conscious Builders. So yes, I'd love to follow up with that. I think we do, what we can even do is be advocates for that, because there was a real level of the, you know, we weren't the only folks who were on that committee. We have a lot of, you know, community residents who were volunteering their time as well. So we should definitely see how that can continue, because the priorities that were presented forward there, and if you remember, there was a list of priorities that came out of the meetings, a couple of meetings, as you know. It'll be great to see how we, you know, either really promote, you know, advocate for it, or make sure that that doesn't get lost. It's very important. It came out of those really important listening sessions, and even the conversation here about Desert Highland Gateway Estates is very important. I think there is a real separation in the city in regards to race and class and enclaves. So I really, you know, really want to push for that. So that's just my comment for that. Thank you.
Thank you,
And just for the benefit of our new commissioners, Edwin Ramaran was on this Equity and Social Justice. He was a liaison with me until he had to resign his position on the commission. And now that he's back, I'm assuming we're gonna put your name back on that box. Okay, very good. Thank you. So that's why you don't see his name there, but he's really been very involved in that for some time now.
So happy for that. Thank you, Commissioner Ramaran. Thank you, Vice Chair. Additional comments? So we've tackled that in the Equity and Social Justice. Veterans issues liaison, we don't have blood. Commissioner Vignolo, do we have anything to report?
Nothing to report.
Thank you for that. Youth Education Affairs Standing Committee, Student Representative Hanner, Vice Chair Shepherd, Commissioner Vignolo, anything to report on this?
I don't have anything this time.
I would like to say, I've been working very hard, trying to get, I guess, a friend of mine. I don't want to state it as like a friend of a friend getting someone into the commission, but a girl I go to school with, her name is Adriana Figueroa. She is in the Zoom call with us today. She expressed her interest with me with perhaps being another student representative. So I gave her the Zoom link so that way she can listen in on today's meeting. She has expressed a lot of interest. I can't say like it is 100% she's going to join or commit to it. We all have very busy schedules. I know she has a very busy schedule, but for those of you confused as to who that is in the Zoom call, that is who that is. So otherwise, I have no other updates. Yes.
Commissioner Horn?
I'm really concerned about bullying
Okay.
in schools, and I would love for you to maybe communicate to us or me. I would be more than willing to work with you if there's issues.
Okay, so on that topic actually, which is very coincidental, last year, and I think we're trying to work on it this year, Commissioner Vignolo can fact check me on that. We had a bullying symposium with the Buddha Bullying organization. So that's something that as a subcommittee and as a commission, we have taken steps on focusing on and educating the public about. I see no issues as to why you can't work with us. I think that would be a great idea. So that is very appreciated.
Can I ask you, are you aware, do kids come forward with their bullying issues? Because that's.
To the committee? Or just in general? I mean, not necessarily to me. I think when it comes to at least high school, everyone's very in their own worlds, and I care about my friends and you don't really reach out to other people. I'm aware that it happens. Bullying is very common and even in microaggression type situations, whether it's really small or very intense, it happens. And it's definitely very prominent within the schools for a plethora of reasons. So I wouldn't say people necessarily reach out, but it's definitely, it's not entirely something that needs to be reached out about because you see it everywhere, especially with social media. You can see it with cyberbullying and stuff like that. At least from my perspective, seeing as we're thinking bullying within the classroom, bullying on campus, you know, I'm right there. So and most people don't speak out about it. Some people don't even realize they're being bullied or whatever, what have you, but it's at least on campus, from what I've noticed, become not necessarily taboo, but kind of just like a weak topic in the sense that like you get called soft for being like, oh, you're bullying me or you're being mean to me, and then people are like, oh, whatever, just get over it. It's very true. And it's different amongst friends, of course, but it's something that I feel like students feel.
Is the superintendent of the school informed on these incidents? Is there numbers that we could?
So I'm not entirely sure, but I do know that every year students are forced to take the Panorama survey. I think it is administered by PSUSD and it assesses you on a plethora of different questions. Ranging from how safe you feel at home and at school to how seen you are for race, gender, sexual orientation, and what have you. So I think there are statistics somewhere. I don't have those numbers and I don't think I have access to them, and I don't know if the committee would either unless we were to specifically work with the district. I do know, however, that not many people are honest on those things. Our teachers tell us that they're anonymous, but our names are in big bold letters at the top and our login information is our student ID number. So a lot of students feel that they can't be honest with these surveys. So it's really just a matter of having students feel comfortable enough to admit these things to other people, and a lot of the times they don't.
Can I ask you, curiously, there's psychologists in the school, right?
I think so, yes.
Okay, I mean, I would love to work with you to just
Right.
see if there's any professionals that know about these issues.
I know we have counselors on campus, like our guidance counselors that, you know, assign our classes and stuff like that. A few of them are trained within like psychology and therapy. We have a psychology course on campus as well. We have a teacher who teaches psychology and AP psychology as well for our juniors and seniors. And to my understanding, there are a few people on campus that are trained in therapy, but I've never spoken to them and I'm not as well versed in that matter.
I think it might
The
be
perfect segue.
prudent, Michael, or Commissioner Horn, I guess, if
Right.
maybe when we review the
Actually,
standing
what I was gonna
committee.
say, no, I'm gonna say, if we could segue into this,
Yeah.
but before we segue, I just wanna acknowledge that we have Adriana Figueroa attending. Thank you, Adriana, for considering applying to join the Human Rights Commission, and if you feel so moved, you should totally do it. Properly. But I think this is a great opportunity, Commissioner Vignolo, to segue into the second annual bullying symposium, and maybe you can provide us with that update and perhaps talk about the importance of the work that the commission has done with organizations such as Voodoo Bullying, because this is an important topic.
That's the only.
Yeah, so we, if you could, I think this is a good opportunity to talk about the symposium
Sure.
and the work that we did last year.
For the second time, I'll make it brief, because we're already into an hour.
Yeah.
But I encourage you again and all the new commissioners to look at joining some of the standing committees, because that's where the work needs to get done before coming to the regular meetings of the commission. So I encourage you to look at the youth and Education Affairs Committee, because there is a bullying program within the Palm Springs Unified School District. The other school districts have it. But, you know, we can talk about it at a committee level. That would be great to have some new blood. In terms of the second annual bullying symposium, I've been working with the Butu Bullying organization, who were the chair has kind of encouraged us in the past year to partner with other organizations. So we are looking, and I'm putting everyone on notice now to put on your calendar, September 30th, 2023. It's a Saturday. That will be the date of the event. Now, it's not going to be a symposium per se, but we're looking at doing primarily a half day. We're not sure what we're calling it yet, but it'll have multiple components, and the Butu Bullying organization is really the lead this year. They've asked for the Human Rights Commission to join them in help promoting and making sure it's a successful event. But their thought this year is that we have multiple activities and multiple venues between 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. on that day to encourage young folks and their families and anyone in the community to come out to have both a fun day filled with activities, but also with an educational component to it. So they've reserved and will be utilizing the pavilion, the leisure center, the skate park, the aquatic center, the ballpark. That's all around the Sunrise Center, right off of
The whole
Sunrise,
park.
the whole area. They're lining up, hopefully, celebrities to attend, and sports figures. There'll be presentations. But last year, the bullying symposium held at the convention center was a panel discussion, basically, with more information. So this year, they were taking a different approach and maybe having something that's more, again, as I said, fun, but also educational for the young folks. So there's a lot more information that I'll be bringing back to the commission, but at this point, ButuBullying.org asked me to ask the commission if they'd be willing to be a co-sponsor, if you will, for this event. It doesn't have a name yet, that we're working on trying to come up with a clever name. But that's basically all I can tell you
It's
about
a
the event.
fantastic organization, butubullying.org. You'll find a lot of information, statistics, things of that nature, programs that they support. That's great. Great. Thank you for that. And let's stay on with Commissioner Vignolo. Mediation, you have anything to report on
I
mediation?
don't have any on mediation.
Okay, so moving on, yes. Oh, Vice
Just
Chair.
so that the commissioners know, and I think I mentioned this earlier, Glenn Flood and I are both certified mediators. We went to a class offered by Riverside County, and we do mediation over at Small Claims Court to get our practice, to get our certificates and all that kind of stuff. But we're both certified to do mediation, and as issues come up, are available to. But we haven't had any issues. come
Yeah,
up.
is Commissioner Ramaran also, Commissioner Ramaran, did you take this training as well? A
Yeah, that's
certification?
correct. I'm proud to be one of the graduates from 2021.
I remember
No,
that.
Congratulations, Edwin.
I'm so glad that we brought that up. So we have people who understand
Yes.
mediation. If any issues arise, then you need to use our commissioners who are certified. Please reach out. Great.
Can I say one thing? real quick?
Yes,
I never got to answer your question, and the answer popped up in my head a little bit. This, at least with my high school, we provide like therapy sessions, group therapy sessions. I know there's an anger management one that happens on campus. I don't know if there's any other things that focus on other forms of therapy or any other issues. I know specifically with anger management, of course, and then my only complaint with it is they always take students out of class during like physical education classes. But they do happen. There are scheduled days and times for those things. Beyond that information, I'm not 110% sure, so.
Thank you very much, Student Representative Tanner. Any other comments before we move on? Okay, moving on to item B of this point is a discussion on rules and procedures and committees, standing committees. Commissioner Vignola mentioned the importance of the standing committees. We have a working document that you all were provided by our staff liaison, Jay Parada, and as part of your agenda packet. In this document, it is really clearly spelled, the goals, again, of the Human Rights Commission, the role, the work that we commissioners do, the power of subpoena, the role of staff, etc. So it's very well distilled. It is a document that was published or last revised in 1996. I'll be the first person to admit that over the last 12 months, we haven't really engaged actively with this document. Probably because we haven't had many instances where we really need to go to this document to find out what the rules and procedures happen to be. But as I flipped through the document in preparation to this meeting, I recognize the importance of it in helping us get informed about our roles, about our capabilities as members of this commission. Is it going to be perfect? No. Does it need to be revised? Absolutely. 1996 happened a long time ago, and some of these particular liaison groups might have been might have changed a lot over the last course of many years. But it is important because we come to this commission with a lot of these questions. Just like you, we were like, how do you deal with vacancies? And what is a fiscal year? How do we build a budget? I don't think we ever even discussed building a budget during my, being the chair. So, how do we do a lot of these things? If there's certain rules that need to be, make sure that the commission abide by, like attendance or conflicts of interest, which by the way, you will, and all of us have to complete and submit a conflict of interest form. It is required. We need to make sure that everyone is up to date with that. How do we go about voting? What is quorum? It took me a while to figure out what quorum was. And of course, our staff, Jay Parada, has been tremendous in helping us steer these types of conversations where we get to the question, well, how do we do that? How do we do that? This document provides a really great insight into the hows and the rules and the procedures. I would like to request that as part of our executive standing committee, we take on making sure that we have an opportunity to review this and to implement its guidelines moving forward. We need to know that we as a commission went through a very difficult and challenging last 12 months with changes in our administration, starting with the city manager position, which obviously leads the work of boards and commissions. That we now have 2 new members of city council, that our commission changed from last year being asked to not replace commissioners to now fully installing 3 new members. So the dynamics have been basically a moving target. And as I mentioned, we haven't really engaged with this, but I would like for us to engage with this. I'd like to make sure that we all have an opportunity to read this. If you have very specific recommendations on things that you think need to be updated, you can make those available to us via sharing those through Jay, who is our state liaison, so he can share this with us, or you can send that by assisting me and our vice chair so that we don't engage in violations of the Brown Act, which you all need to receive training on if you haven't received training on Brown Act. We cannot reply all. Very important, right? So those are the kinds of nuances that we need to understand as we engage in this communications as commissioners. Yes, Commissioner Juan.
how were we appointed? Because in the commissions that I served on before in different cities, usually council has one commissioner that's appointed for council member and then 2 or 3 at large.
This has changed a little bit over the years. Again, we are facing a new city manager. We have new formed council. Procedurally, people would submit an application to join the commission. Procedurally, you would be scheduled an interview with at least one city council member. And I believe that is what took place in your situation. If not,
No?
they just reviewed your applications.
Did you not apply?
Oh, I applied. I did
But you didn't have an
apply,
interview.
but I
Showed up.
didn't find out I was on the commission until this afternoon.
Okay, so very, very important, and I'm so glad you bring this commissioner form, because that was a question that I have for city.
What, I missed that. I'm sorry, I was
Sure, yeah.
sideboarding over here.
They
My
were
fault.
not interviewed.
She was not either.
You weren't interviewed?
I didn't apply, I just.
She's walking here too.
Yeah, I just did.
She doesn't even know what this is.
I did, I.
You filled out the application. Did you have an
2
interview?
years ago, and I
2
talked to the interim city clerk,
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
believe,
Uh-huh.
asking about the process, which commissions, finding out about the commission structure.
Right.
So.
So
that-
So this is a perfect example of
Our life as a
Of-
commission.
what we faced in flux, okay? And again, as a reminder, as a commission, our role is to support the work of the city council. That is our number one mandate. With the transition, city manager, new city council, I am pretty sure that this is one of the main reasons why we are in questioning. How does it happen? Rest assured that obviously by the way, and we're going on public record, everything we say goes on public record, there's a recording. So when you speak on behalf of yourselves, or you have an opportunity to speak on behalf of the commission, just make sure you understand the importance and the relevance of going on record. And if you do not intend to say something on behalf of the commission, you need to make sure that it's clear for the record that you're making those kinds of statements as a personal matter of opinion. Very, very, very important. There's a lot of very sensitive topics. Things that we need to get our city attorney involved in certain issues. But at the end of the day, if it's above a pay grade and it belongs with the city council, it is the city council's decision to give us directions, to answer our questions. And we're just here to do our civil work, to provide support to our city council. And I hope that's clear. Okay?
Just, if I can, just, because I happen to have it right here, so there, you must have all applied.
Yeah.
And the city clerk, in a city council staff report of May 25th. Recommended to the council that you be appointed to the Human Rights Commission effective immediately for a term ending June 30th, 2026. It was on their consent calendar, so they must have approved the consent calendar, which is how you then get an appointed to be present tonight.
I attended that city council meeting.
Just agree to not follow that process.
Yeah, and we still find time to have coffee and get to know each other better. So that's the important thing,
Yeah.
but
That's not the process that was followed. I think we're looking to clarify rules and procedures. Some things, we had one chair for, I think, 8 years. And things kind of got, some things carried along exactly and some things deviated a little bit. And I think we're now starting to identify some of those areas of discrepancy. All of us, I know, were filled out applications, anxious to be on the commission, had to wait a couple of years, all that kind of thing. So when someone says, you don't have to apply, that's the reason why. It's not because we're picking on anybody, okay? I guess the council has the right to do that. If they want to expedite a commissioner, they probably have the right to do that. But I guess if we would just ask our new commissioners to bear with us as we get through some of these topics.
Patience, I cannot emphasize this enough. We all need to wake up and take our chill pills every day. We do work for the commission and other things. Patience is gonna be very important because nothing moves at the speed in which we would all like it to move. Okay,
Most of us on the commission.
Commissioner Greer?
Yeah, no, I would just like to say, applied to, just whatever, I said I was willing to help with anything in the
Oh.
city, and this is what came up, that's all.
That's fine.
I'm also very happy to note number 8 in here, because, I am a gerontologist, and I do run the neurovitality center. And the seniors and people with disabilities, I think, are a very, very critical part of this, city, and, it is a retirement area after all. And there are many reasons that they need our support and that they need our help, and they should never be left out, as I noticed they were on the committee and liaison reports. So it has that, this has senior people with disabilities and veterans. I'd like to see that continue.
Well, I mean, I think we're discussing how to improve our rules and procedures. And this document, as the chair pointed out, is very old and needs probably some revision. Probably behooves each commissioner to review the document. And as the chair, I think, indicated, send suggestions on how it can be improved or what's not clear. Personally, for me, my biggest issue right now is with the executive committee. I think it's an important committee to have. I think it needs to, I know the chair and vice chair are members of the executive committee. I don't believe we have a third member. And I raised that issue with our staff liaison, and I would like
So
hopefully to address
So go back,
adding a third
let's go
member.
back to that, because this is a really important issue you're raising, Commissioner Vignolo. And this is, again, with the standing committees, if we look at the standing committees and we look at the executive committee, and I'm gonna read it for the record, it says membership. Chairperson, vice chairperson, and rotating member of the commission at large, rotating member. Responsibility, we're responsible to set the agenda for regular and special commission meetings, coordinate commission activities, provide direction and facilitate communication with commission members, provide orientation to the new members, implement policy, problem solve, appoint committee chairpersons to promote the goals, objectives, and activities of the commission by working closely with local media representatives, produce quarterly Human Rights Commission newsletter, periodically update HRC brochure, develop public service announcements, help prepare and review all commission news releases, coordinate requests for interviews of commission members, promote policy that all news and press releases be reviewed by the executive committee, develop, train, and maintain group of identified commissioners who are willing to serve on Speakers Bureau, then confirm and coordinate their appearance at civic meetings and functions. Clearly, that's a handful.
So
But-
when did we have a brochure?
Well, so this was published in 1996, so maybe, yeah.
I think we're missing a few things. We're missing a newsletter, a brochure, like, hold on.
And then Commissioner Vignolo mentioned specifically about the rotating member, and it's just above the beginning of the standing committee. And it says that the rotating member of the executive committee serves as a chairperson in the absence of the chairperson and the vice chairperson. This individual represents the commission at large on the executive committee and maintains a full third vote of the executive committee in all matters. Furthermore, if we go up a little bit, it also says that at the top of this page, when it says officers, there is a line in the first paragraph that talks about the rotating member of the executive committee is selected by the commission membership at large and serves for a period of 3 months.
Ah,
All right, so this is something really important, and because
3 months.
because we're now identifying this, what I would like to put on the table for the commission, and not only if we need to take a vote on this, but let's make sure that this makes it into our master calendar, so every 3 months, we know that we have a rotating member of the executive committee coming up. And as commission, we take a vote, and we get people nominated. Vice Chair.
I agree with that, except I really think it should be 6 months. You can't accomplish anything or get involved in anything in 3 months. We'd be voting all the time. I would strongly recommend that that person serve for 6 months.
And this is the kind of feedback that we need to hear. Commissioner Rinke.
I'm thinking that should there be a formalized committee to review this and to make recommendations? I mean, we could all be part of it, but should that process be formalized?
So this is what I would like the executive standing committee to take care of with the feedback, the collective feedback from all of you, reviewing this document and asking questions. And they could be hard questions that need to be asked about these rules and procedures.
When you think about it, this is 2023, we have like a whole emphasis on DEI everywhere. I mean, in all corporate and organizations are adopting, are promoting such diversity, equity, and inclusion. So, I mean, kind of rethinking what applies and what doesn't apply,
Yeah.
it would make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Even the language is outdated.
Yeah,
It is.
and this is a great opportunity for us to engage with this. And I think that to the degree that we all engage with this, we're gonna feel a part of the importance of making these adjustments and changes.
I can tell you how long ago this was done. The Stroke Activity Center changed its name in 2003, the Stroke Recovery Center, and then changed its name again about 5 years ago to the Neuro Vitality Center. So it flew back in terms of appropriate name.
27.
So could I just ask the chair, I mean, and the vice chair, do you have a timeline for when you would like to?
We're gonna
have-
find a date to meet and make appointments. I want to also, because I haven't gone into the announcements and the final of the agenda. But next month, the month of July is gonna be a month in which we're gonna have, we're gonna conduct, nominations. And this will be an opportunity for all of our new members, commissioners, to express their desire to join a particular standing committee. Or maybe there's an opportunity
Or
to
a
be
vice chair position or.
vice chair position, chair position comes up.
Yeah.
The
That's all.
third member, rotating member for the standing commission comes in July. So next month, we're gonna be specifically assigning and voting on these roles. So obviously, the urgency for this is important. We need to find a time and a date for us to meet. Done.
Good.
To meet on what?
On reviewing this document to the best.
So you're
degree.
looking for you and the vice chair to meet prior
Oh,
to
as an
July?
as an executive standing committee.
That's my point. My understanding is the
There's supposed to be a
executive
third
committee
person.
currently only consists of just you
So-
and the vice
So
chair.
we're gonna wait, we're gonna put this on the table until we have a third rotating member
Okay.
after our July meeting. And that will be the time we can do diligence with this document.
And what we might do in the interim is just ask that all the commissioners take a look at it, make notes, cross through. There be some things you know, some things you know. All of us bring a lot of knowledge of the community and get us to a point where we at least have something we can formulate into a draft. And then I would ask Jay, are we allowed to, who wrote this document and can we change it? Are we allowed to update it?
I believe so. It looks to be rules adopted by
The
the
commission?
commission, so
Okay.
it's yours to change. I also want to point out, commissioners, that July 10th is our date for the next regular scheduled meeting, but there is a special city council meeting on that date.
Yeah.
Kind of like what we've been experiencing over the past few months, so we will have to select a special meeting date for July.
They love our commission days. so
Yeah.
much.
Can we all look at our calendars and look at
We'll
July
get to it
30th?
on the agenda. I'm sure.
Yeah, I have a couple of things to cover before that.
Okay,
All right. Okay. Moving along.
sorry.
That's okay. This is
Turn
important.
myself-
This is important work, people. Very, very important work. Partnerships with other organizations. I have been advocating this for months, encouraging all commissioners to think, identify, and bring other organizations that you would like for us to engage with. And we have been engaging with some phenomenal organizations. The Trans Health Wellness Center. We have Jacob's organization. David, what's the name of Jacob's?
Oh,
Works.
I kept thinking,
Right.
and I was like, that's.
Knowing about the trans issues that not just our community, but the nation at large is experiencing. Those are the kinds of organizations that we certainly need to engage with. Human rights, human trafficking, anything that you guys see, hey, we need to be talking to these folks, even if it's a newly formed organization. Make sure you bring that information, present it to the commission. Let's figure out a way to look for engagement with those organizations. I have one quick update on this. And it is that there's a new group formed, and it is named the LGBTQ Wall of Honor Landmark Monument Campaign. This is a group of individuals who have collectively gotten together to create enough funds and look at the procedures for electing members of our community that should be honored and remembered as LGBTQ community members and allies who have had a profound, significant, and positive impact on the Palm Springs LGBT community.
I don't know where to get.
The Wall of Honor will be a visible and lasting reminder to residents of Palm Springs and the Coachella Valley of the LGBTQ's rich history of courage, spirit, achievement, and activism. It will be constructed in a location of significance to bring attention to the importance and history of the LGBT community within Palm Springs and the greater Coachella Valley. Its mission is to recognize LGBTQ individuals and allies who have significantly impacted Palm Springs and greater Coachella Valley through volunteering, service to the community, education, and professional careers. The Wall of Honor will be designed, installed, and funded to serve as a beacon of community pride for generations to come. The LGBTQ Wall of Honor will be constructed in a prominent public gathering place in Palm Springs where the community can unite and celebrate its past, present, and future. The Wall of Honor represents an enduring symbol of the importance of the LGBT community.
I am a part of this organization to an extent of if the meetings were any later, I could go to them. But to my understanding, and I know you've gotten more involved with it and have been able to attend said meetings. It's supposedly supposed to be an interactive art piece, but not necessarily, it doesn't have to necessarily be a wall of honor. So it is still, to my understanding, in a developmental phase of what exactly are we looking at wanting it to be. The idea of just naming it a wall of honor was just to get a title on to a document. But the finalization of what it's going to be has not been like set in stone yet. So it could be an interactive sculpture, it could be whatever it is that isn't necessarily decided yet.
what's the organization?
You're absolutely, the name of it is the LGBTQ Wall of Honor Landmark Monument Campaign. And Lily, you're absolutely right. The director or president of the group, together with members, some other members of the board, are working on putting together an RFP, a call for artists, local artists. They're going to be working on raising funds to make this happen, because it's all going to happen essentially privately funded. And I just want to share with everyone that I was invited to sit at the with the board of directors of this group, and I have accepted it. So it will give me an opportunity to get the insights of the work that is happening with the group, but also to make sure that we're looking at it as a project that has a lens of Human Rights Commission.
What about the location?
Nothing has
Hasn't
been,
been decided
nothing
yet.
has been decided.
This is just conceptual.
This is all
Yes.
conceptual. Right now, it's all about making sure that an RFP gets produced and published to the public, the call for artists. That the group works with the city in finding and securing a location. And that the funds that are needed to make this happen are raised. That's gonna be very, very important. And they're really open, like Lily said, it's nothing is off the table, nothing is off limits. With regard of what is the representation of such a landmark. So if you know artists, local artists, that might be good candidates to learn about the RFP. That would be good to keep in mind. Right? So that you can share that info with them as it becomes available. And so again, encouraging everyone to look for organizations, current, former, new, that you think might be good organizations to partner with as a Human Rights Commission. Please bring that information, be actively participants. Commissioner Rinke.
Yeah, I'd like to be on record of being very passionate about healthcare and considering access to healthcare, the ability to get healthcare, regardless of insurance, regardless of whether or not that they're underinsured, self-insured, or no insurance. I think this is a really big problem with the homeless population, with the undocumented, with the first generation Latinos who work in self-employed that don't have health insurance. So I'm looking at, I'm on a board of a couple of organizations and I'm looking to partner and to bring information and some liaison, collaboration in ways that our efforts could support what's happening there. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you, Commissioner Rinke. Anyone else? Moving along, item D, Youth Human Rights Summer Camp at James O. Jesse Desert Highland Unity Center, Commissioner Vignola.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So on Monday, May 15th, I sent an email through our staff liaison asking the commission who might be available to assist with this project, and to my knowledge, I didn't hear back from anybody. Is that
Crickets.
correct?
Crickets.
Crickets. So I'm gonna ask, and bear with me, with the new members, since you probably was the first you've heard of it. I had proposed doing a human rights project during the summer camp program, which runs from June 12th through August 4th. At the James O. Jesse Desert Highland Unity Center. I met with their staff back in May to discuss doing this project. The thought was they had youth that sign up for this summer camp. And they're basically elementary through middle school, although there are some high school students. They don't really know the number of students that would participate or their ages. Sometimes it's a drop-in program. They do encourage the youth to sign up in advance, but that doesn't always work. But I thought this might be an opportunity for us to go out and engage with the youth of that community during their summer program, to kind of make it another fun activity, but to educate them about what human rights are. And we would act somewhat like mentors, meet with them, maybe on the first couple of days for a couple of hours, talk about human rights and get them engaged using perhaps the internet to produce some kind of project at the end that they could then show off to their peers, to their family members, to us on that Friday of that week. So it'd be like a 3 to 4 day program. And there'd be prizes, kind of make it fun, but make it educational. So my purpose was to meet with them, to look at their calendars, to see when we could fit in, and they felt, the best time, because they have other programs going on with their youth, would be July 5th through the 7th, from 9 AM to 1 PM. So for a period of 3 days, the Human Rights Commission would work side by side with some of these 4th and 5th grade youth, as well as possibly 6th, 7th, and 8th grade youth. Probably on the first 2 days, we would just help them understand what human rights are, kind of guide them towards maybe using the internet or other materials to produce something that we could showcase, or they could showcase to us and to their peers and family members on the final day, July 7th. But I can't do it alone. I
I'm in.
simply can't do it alone.
I'm in.
Okay, so we need at least, I say, several commissioners to commit to these 3 days working with the youth there from 9 to 1, because we don't show up, I mean, we're gonna just look really bad. And I don't wanna, I need to get back to them to confirm that we're all in 110%. Because I don't want to disappoint these youth if we say we're gonna show up and do something for 3 days with them.
So, what makes me nervous is what kind of curriculum pitches to, a middle schooler about human rights? Do you have some access to information to teachers or something, or any of them?
Well,
Yeah.
there are some materials that I got from, some other teaching resources that we could tap into. It's pretty much, we're just trying to engage these kids. I mean, we can pretty much do anything we want. I attended a similar program that La Quinta did, but it was a year-long program, and they invited us at the end to come out and see the product that these kids did. And I'm trying to just do a very small scale 3-day program with these kids to give them something to do, but also to help get visibility for our commission.
Well, I'll commit to a day,
Okay,
maybe doing that.
just,
Yeah, sure.
that was encouraging. I think Oliver had mentioned he might be in on it too. Again, I don't know the number of students or youth that will be there on these days. But I think, if there are 3 or 4 of us, we can kind of pair up with 2 or 3 kids, and help them understand what human rights are, and then kind of engage with them and go to the internet, do some research. We'll have poster boards, they can make, materials they can cut up and make storyboards or whatever. But I needed to know I had the manpower to put something in place.
We have hands raised on Zoom.
On Zoom, I see 2 hands. Commissioner Cleary and Commissioner Ramos.
I think Clary raised his hand first.
So.
Yeah,
Commissioner
I'm
Cleary?
in. I'm in for the storyboard kid thing.
Okay, thank
Awesome.
you.
Commissioner Ramaran?
I'm already in. I'm actually doing the same work similarly with We Are One United. So yes, I'll be there. So I'll figure out something.
So maybe let me see, who was that? It was Vice Chair Shepherd
Shepherd, Rinke,
and
Cleary,
Commissioner
and
Rinke.
Romo.
Is it Rinke?
Ricky,
Ricky. Commissioner Cleary, Commissioner Ramos.
Yes, before.
Maybe the 4 of us, I'll reach out to you. I think we have, I don't know, do I have to go through you to set up a? This isn't a
Brown
committee,
Act.
I mean, I guess,
Product.
Yeah,
it would be nice if the 4 of us got together and talked about what we're gonna try to achieve.
what you could do is perhaps form it's not a standing committee, an ad hoc group.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great idea.
Because if it's an ad hoc group, they can meet, work on the logistics and set up, but then definitely communicate the results.
Right. Yeah, there's rules for ad hoc groups too. If it's a majority of the commission, it's basically a meeting with the commission, so I have to be careful not to do that. And
I have a lot of
committees-
time.
Committees and ad hoc groups also have to agendize and post those meetings, but You know, we have to do what we have to do, so.
Okay, so
That's more than.
we'll follow your lead on this. You can explain, and maybe coordinate with Commissioner Vignola, who's gonna be leading this.
Okay, because I like to, yeah, we have to do something before July 1.
It's just coming up fast.
Which is
Yeah.
coming up fast, otherwise we're gonna show up on July 7th, but I need to get back to them and let them know we are committed to doing
Okay.
it. Otherwise, they'll schedule something else.
I congratulate you, David, for, really getting out in the community,
Let's see.
acting for the
It
commission.
could all fall apart again. They can't guarantee that any kids will be in the room.
Oh, gosh, no.
But I'll check with them.
We
They may
put
have
out
had
an
some pre-registration. I don't know, but.
If you put an ad for this,
If you need
I
someone
think
to
if
make
you
a
put out an
poster,
ad for this, you'll get plenty to sign up.
if you need
Okay.
someone to make a poster, you know to
I know.
email.
All right.
So anything else on this? Any additional comments? Thank you for that, Commissioner Vignola. That's a great project for the summer. So we're now down to F, Commissioner, staff and student comments, and I'm gonna open it up to anyone who has additional comments. Please raise your hand, let us know. Commissioner Ramaran?
Hi, good evening, everybody. I just wanted quickly, I'm loving the new camera technology here, by the way. It's so cool. Seeing it from the Zoom side. And I'll make sure to be present in person versus Zoom. But I want to, say good evening to all of you. Thank you, City Clerk Brenda Pree. I want to also thank Deputy City Clerk Cassandra Edney, who's been helping me on board again. So I'll make sure to get my Form 700 and the AB 1234 ethics training going. Thank you, Jay, always, our Community and Economic Development Director and our great staff liaison. I'm so proud to be back. It is an honor to serve with you, Chair Loyola, Vice Chair Shepherd, fellow Commissioners Flood, Cleary, Vignola, and fabulous student Representative Hanner. Welcome aboard, new commissioners, Rinke, Horn, and Greer. I look forward to working together and seeing you all again in person, and I hope to keep with the Equity and Social Justice Committee as well. And as a reminder, Palm Springs is a sanctuary city to protect our undocumented and immigrant residents and workers. I'm proud to announce that there was a wonderful celebration of this weekend of 125 years of Philippine independence. So the National Alliance of Filipino Americans included a caravan from Demuth Park in District 1 in Palm Springs to Palm Desert, where they had the celebration. So it was a nice connection of Palm Springs, where in Veterans Tract in the Demuth Park area, there is a large enclave of Filipinos, of which I was born and raised in. Happy Pride to all of us. We celebrate our LGBTQIA plus communities this month, and I had the honor of presenting the keynote at the Lambda celebration at UC Riverside last week. It was celebrated 30 years of having the first LGBT resource center open on any UC campus. So we're doing this wormhole thing, right? We're doing this document of like from the 90s as well for the Human Rights Commission. So it's always kind of interesting to see, looking back at like pre-internet, pre-social media, like documents. I was born and raised in Palm Springs. I faced bullying as a child through until high school, through college as well. But I was so fortunate to have close friends who protected me. Literally, I generally don't even discuss being bullied. I was actually in a room with a couple friends this weekend, and we were talking about it, and I'm like realizing that we never talked about growing up and how we were bullied. And I also had a great gay best friend in high school, so it helped. It was also not until I was an undergraduate that I came out at UC Riverside, so I came out and became more involved with community building and activism. I love that we're looking at DEI, talking about sort of that wormhole of back then and now, but I also want to add the B. So I want to look at the DEIB, and that's diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging, that sense of feeling of belonging. I hope to see you all this weekend at James O. Jessie. It should be great to really honor Juneteenth. I just started this week as a development and sustainability director at We Are One United. That'll be on my Form 700, and which is working on positive youth development, mental health, and bringing talent training and technology to District 1, which is our minority majority district. We were founded actually because of gang violence. We're looking at youth intervention, youth violence and violence intervention. And this, as you may know, We Are One United received a really large grant from the state, but also from, as well as help from the city of Palm Springs. I want to give a shout out to our professor, mentor, teacher, Dr. Fred Jant, who was our mediation training instructor at the Community Action Partnership of Riverside. As many of you know, he also served as the College of the Desert Area 3 trustee, and he had to resign this year because of health. So I'm wishing him better health, and I want to thank him for just being a wonderful mediation trainer and coach. I hope he's doing better in health and life, and want to thank him for his wonderful and valuable teaching work and service. So that's my notes for today. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Ramaran, and welcome back. We're so happy to have you back, and let's keep on the great work. Any additional comments from commissioners, staff? Jay, do you have anything? Commissioner Vignola?
So I guess it's at this point, well, I'll bring up the trying to find a date for the special meeting of the Human Rights Commission. I had sent earlier today a draft proclamation to Jay for dissemination to the commission. But again, on advice of the city attorney, thought it would be better to have a special meeting devoted to discussion of this time-sensitive proclamation. Basically, the proclamation, I won't go into the specifics of it, but it has to do with recommending that the city council proclaim support for LGBTQ Pride Month. I'll leave it at that. I do believe that it's important to do this at this moment in time because of the environment in which we are operating. And so I would like to propose that we get out our calendars and look for a special meeting, possibly on Wednesday, if it's possible this week, so that we can give Jay an opportunity to distribute the draft proclamation. We can discuss it at the special meeting Wednesday, and then if it's approved, send it forward for consideration at the council on June 29th, which I think would be appropriate.
Any additional comments?
Will we have to do the special meeting via Zoom or in person or what?
It'll probably be based on availability.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, if you decide to have a special meeting, it would most likely be by Zoom, given the notice time. And on that day at 5:30, there is a Public Arts Commission meeting in this room, so
Just kick them out.
which I
Jokes.
staff.
Jokes.
So that would be a Wednesday at that time would be bad for me, but I think all
It will be back
times
for me too.
I'm sorry.
It will be back for me too.
Okay,
I
so
mean, can we do Friday? I can't do the Thursday, the 15th. I'll be full disclosure. That's why I'm avoiding Thursday, the 15th, because I'll be in the air.
It's just not enough time.
What about Friday, the 16th?
it's possible, but that may be past the staff report submission deadline. Or the meeting on the 29th. That's what we're trying to submit for, correct? To be in June, so.
Would it be,
You're right.
okay, I don't know the details, I don't wanna step on any toes here, but if the time frame is inadequate because there's so little time, can this proclamation be presented during Pride, the parade, I think it's in November, right?
Yes,
Right.
Could,
beginning of November.
could that work, maybe?
Well, without going to the specifics of the draft proclamation, the point of the draft proclamation was for the city council of Palm Springs, essentially to recognize that June traditionally in most locations in the United States
Is Pride
is
Month.
Pride Month. Right. Although in Palm Springs, I believe due primarily to the conditions outside, we celebrate Pride in November.
But I wonder if there's something that a previous commission might have done to acknowledge that June is Pride Month across the country. And although we're not in Pride season for us in Palm Springs, that there has been at least an acknowledgement that the month of June is widely celebrated.
I mean, it would make sense. Palm Springs is such a like pride, like
I would
landmark.
be surprised if there's something like that.
I just
But we
couldn't
had-
find anything on the city website.
Because we had a proclamation for Hispanic Heritage Month. I would be very surprised if we had never drafted something for Pride.
That's exactly what I was thinking, right?
Well, and that's, I was checking with the city manager about those. They knew of any council members or any of them taking action to do something similar, so.
Right.
Mhm.
I have not heard back from them on that.
Okay.
so.
So,
If it can't be, it can't be, but I felt.
Yeah.
Particularly because of the recent action.
Yeah.
On Tuesday, the human rights campaign issue that.
Yeah.
Emerged,
so,
the emergency for
So-
LGBTQ folks.
so let's see
The
if we can.
national emergency.
So let's see if we can totally find a date, because this is important, but it's also important for us to find out if the city or previous commissions have done something with regard to saying June is Pride Month, even though we don't have a parade in Palm Springs.
Does it have to be in the evening? Does a special meeting have to be in the evening?
No, but for those, not for those of us who work, who have regular jobs, who are not retired,
Regular
Well,
job
it's-
is
There's only 4 days
crazy.
left in this week.
yeah,
And you
It's a
can't
no.
do it Wednesday, right? And you can't do it Friday because it won't make it into the staff report, so that leaves tomorrow, which can't be because you have to give 24-hour notice of special meeting. Right?
Can we do Thursday? What's wrong with
But he
Thursday?
just said we.
Oh, you
I
can,
won't be able to, because I have to work.
oh, you're a working man.
I am a working person, I need to work to pay the bills.
What about
This is my
Thursday?
community work.
I thought you were busy.
Okay.
Well, I mean, you can do it, I just. Don't think I might be able to call in, I don't think I can because I'm on a plane, but. So,
So let's see if
Try real
we
hard.
can find a
I don't
date.
necessarily have to be there, if I'm the only impediment,
Yeah.
I'll let
Another-
somebody else take the mantle.
I'm not able to attend on Friday or Thursday.
Mhm.
And I just checked my emails, the June 29th staff reports are due on Thursday, June 15th.
Thursday, June 15th. I mean, like midtime.
Okay, so.
That's why I wanted to discuss it tonight.
Okay.
So if the commission took action tonight, it could make it into this report on June 15th. If that's absolutely not a possibility, Jay, that's not a possibility for us to discuss the draft proclamation tonight.
Oh, well,
Does it not now rise to the level
Mm-mm.
that the city attorney said is required, given all the other
I
impediments?
think the discussion on agendizing it is fine and what it is, but to come to some kind of a decision on moving it forward is something that would most likely require having been agendized. So,
Okay,
Right.
so with that in mind, okay, so we need to move forward. The next,
Well,
items.
just for the record, I mean, if the commission can't take any action on it, I may pursue submitting it to seeing what seeing what my city council member can do to expedite it, to
Okay.
get on their consent calendar.
and that's on record.
Yeah.
Might
Might
be
be
easier.
easier,
Yeah.
and I thought this would be a good avenue to.
Yeah.
And show the city council we're productive,
We
but.
can verbally acknowledge our support.
Thank you, I'll
Okay,
withdraw.
thank you for that. All right, so next item in the agenda are the agenda items for next meeting. We have two very important items in the agenda, which is the elections of the chair and the vice chair. And then the admission of new members to standing committees. Did I miss anything, Jay?
just that we need a date for that July meeting.
Yes, July meeting. So if it's not this upcoming Monday, I mean, if it's not July the tenth, which is a Monday, the following Monday, I believe is July the 17th. Can everyone check your calendars real quick and see if July 17th, this is the following Monday, is available? It's a yes for me if everyone else is available.
What time would this meeting be?
It's 5:30.
And there will be a Zoom.
It will be like this.
It may have to be all Zoom because I will be out of the office, but I can facilitate. the
That's
meeting
fine.
remotely.
Works for me.
Okay,
We've done Zoom before.
okay.
I'll be traveling, so I will.
Okay. So Oliver say yes?
Monday, June,
Monday, July the 17th. 5:30 PM
special meeting.
for
It's
special
usually
meeting.
a regular.
Is it a regular meeting, Jay, or is it a special meeting?
That would be a special meeting.
Yeah.
July 17th?
Just because we have to move the regular
because we
meeting.
have
Because
to
it
move
moves.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it.
It becomes a
It's not
special.
as regular.
So it looks like we would have quorum for that, July 17th.
I may or may not be. able
Yeah,
to
me too. I
attend,
may or
but
may not.
Okay, so if that is not a possibility, then a second possibility is the next Monday, which is July the 24th.
That works for me.
There's a council meeting, I think.
That's good. for
Council
me.
meeting's on the 29th. Oh, wait, that's June.
July 20.
July 24th will be the next Monday.
It shows on here, Monday, July 24th.
Is it council meeting?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a council meeting there.
I find it funny, you know that already does.
I need to-
If the website's correct, let me preface that, if the
Is it going to
website's
be a Monday
correct.
night? Could it be a week, another night?
It could be any night.
Oh,
Okay.
We just prefer Mondays because that's normally when we're here.
right.
Mm,
We did July 26th.
That would be a Wednesday.
July 26th is a Wednesday. It's available for me as well. Can you all check your calendars real quick?
Me as well.
Works for me.
Okay,
Works for me.
Is that Wednesday?
July
Yes,
26th,
Wednesday.
Wednesday, 5:30. Yes, Zoom.
I'm physically here then. Yep.
That would be good. Special meeting, July
July
26th,
26th.
5:30. Wednesday, what?
July
July
26th
26th.
at 5:30 PM.
Okay. So if everyone's in agreement, I'd like to know if we have a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn by Commissioner Vignolo. Do I have a second?
I second.
Commissioner Rinke seconds that. Any discussion? Let's adjourn. The commission will adjourn to a special meeting on July 26th at 5:30 PM via Zoom. Thank you, everyone. Welcome. Have a good night.
Thank you.